Very well, welcome back to Let's Play Xenogears. Last time we looked at the painting. We looked at the painting in the chapel. And this time, well, we're going back to Nazan and see what we can do. What our next plan is. Alright, so we're going over to Nazan. And I think if we wander around enough, we'll trigger the next plot thing. Yeah, there it is. Ah! Young master! Sure, what do you want? The people of Nazan want orders to allow us to rent this house, so there will be no need to seek lodging in the inn for a while. Also, Master Sigurd wishes a word with you regarding your next move, if he may. Alright, so where is Sig? The good Master Sigurd is waiting for you inside. Okay, thanks, Maison. Sure, before we go in there, I want to point out a couple of things. First of all, if you hear my words that my voice is a little bit different, it's because I've been changing recording setup. Now everything is new. New computer, everything about the microphone has changed basically. New computer, new controller, mainly a new recording program. So I changed that as well. Hopefully it's gonna go a little bit smoother than before. I hope so, at least. But yeah, if you hear my voice is a little bit different, that's why. Second thing, you might want to go and upgrade your gears if you haven't done so already. Soon we'll enter some sort of dungeon exit, and it would be wise to upgrade your gear. It's gonna be a gear dungeon. So that being said, let's move on into this house. Whenever I come here, it always calls my heart. Anyway, young master, I want to work out what our plans from here on are. Alright, but before we do that, there is something I want to ask you. Me? Yeah. Sig, what's up with you and that Gabler officer? What's the connection between you and him? You know, you sure know a lot about Gabler for some reason. Alright, I'll tell you. Me and Citan here, we used to live in Solaris. Solaris? You mean where Gabler's from? That's right. Solaris calls foreigners lambs. They are used as manual labor. Basically, it's slavery. Slavery? Is that where you met him? Yes, it was there. We worked for the Solaris government for a short while, but we learned to dislike their methods and escaped the first chance we had. You were friends with these people? I met you when I was a kid, and we've been together ever since then. So this would have had to have happened even before then. I probably wouldn't have understood this if I had heard it earlier, but why didn't you think I could deal with it now? Surely you could have told me about this. Especially when you had something to do with the people who are backing that Shakan idiot. I wish you'd told me sooner. There's nothing I can do about that now. But there's one thing I want you to believe. We left Solaris on our own will and for our own reasons. Now they've appeared before us. We can't just sit back and do nothing. If need be, I'll give my life to stop them. Alright, I understand. But can you elaborate a little more? All right, we'll have a choice here, and you will eventually have to choose them all. So I think we're just gonna start from the top and go for a ride. What bugs me is the surface dwellers thing. It's as if Solaris it's in another location, like up in the clouds or something. Yes, well. Etrenank, the capital of Solaris Empire, is located in the skies above. Solaris is separated from the land by dimensional distortion fields known as gates. Passing between the two requires special means of transportation, such as an airship. To get to Ave, we stowed away on a regular flight to Solaris. I came much later than Sigurd did, but I also escaped in the same way. That is the word Solarians used to indicate those who live on the Earth. As I said before, such surface dwellers, or Earth dwellers, are used for manual labor there. Manual labor could be anything from soldiers to administrative jobs. Solaris gathers its workforce from the land of dwellers. Jobs are divided up by who is most suitable. Sometimes people are brainwashed. Brainwashed? When you, young master, were still an infant, I was used as a test subject. There was probably something they valued inside of me. You too, Doc? No. I was born in the lower city levels. It is not a complete secret, but I guess I am a Solarian. You see, you still need people to run a country. No matter how scientifically advanced you are, you have no support without people. Pure Solarians are rare. They would not even make up a quarter of a vast total population. So they support their country by stealing surface dwellers. His name is Karan Ramsus. As you know, he's the Gabler commander. Ramsus? We call him Kar. In Solaris there is an officer training school called Jugend. He became the commander after leaving there. He's a lower level citizen, the same as me. However, with his amazing abilities, after graduating, he rose through the ranks with unparalleled speed. That man had one ideal, to achieve a consolidation of all of his colleagues. Even land dwellers, if they had talent, were brought into the army. So you two were picked by Ramsus? No, we were not picked by him. We aligned ourselves with him. At that time, we agreed with him. At the time, Ramsus was our hope. He had high ideals and wanted to change the system in Solaris. To use us test subject and lower level citizens, it was truly all that he wished for. A benefactor? Yes, even I, a test subject, was changed by his ideals. So why was it that you wanted to flee from Solaris? We were placed in key military positions by Ramsus. And thanks to that, we came to know the relationship between Solaris and the surface dwellers. The lambs, right? They weren't just using us lambs for slave labor. They also selected some of us, like me, to be used as subjects in experiments to refine their drugs. Drugs that changes people's personalities, to make them more aggressive, and to draw out their latent abilities. They were using us as human guinea pigs to test their psychological alteration drugs. Human guinea pigs? Experimenting on humans? Yes, for example... Drive. That drug and all others like it that are used now are byproducts of human experimentation. However, the role of such experimental subjects was not limited to just that. This drive drug is something that anyone in Solaris' army can use. At least anyone in the Gabler forces was sent down to the surface. You're worried about her, huh? I saw some in her room. No. Anyway, using slaves as guinea pigs. How low are these guys? Damn. Alright, if you can ask again, you'll be able to ask any of the 4 questions we just asked. But I think we understand so far. I think I get most of it. Home is on. Go reserve the town hall for us. We'll finish talking there. I'm going outside to get some air. I should have been honest with him sooner. It is best not to worry about it. You did all you could at the time. The young one will understand. Alright. That's it. We should now go forward. What does Mazan have to say? Let's see. I'm sure the young master would never have dreamed of such a tale. I guess you already knew? Well, now that you ask, yes I did. However, when Sigurd was telling his story, I thought it was best to stay quiet. Please try and help the young master come to terms with all that he has just heard. Sure I will, and in fact I'm going straight to him. I'll know if he's by the bridge or if he's by the town hall. It's probably by the bridge. There he is, it's by the bridge. I had no idea Sig has such a past. Are you still suspicious of Sigurd? Well, I mean, it was just so sudden. I kind of expected to hear something different, like that we were child rivals or something. But that's nothing compared to the story he just told us, is it? So hearing this story has you confused because it was not people. There was a time when he was cooperating with one of Gebler's generals. Furthermore, behind Gebler was a country that you had never heard of. Hey, what are you picking on me for? No, I'm not picking on you or blaming anything on you. What I'm saying is this. If you think about how he feels, then you should see why he could not talk about this with you till now. Looking at the activities of Solaris toward other countries up until now, it has never gone beyond simply maintaining their own empire or self-preservation. And as you have seen, their military power is immense, so Sigurd was probably thinking ahead. First, he was probably concentrating on taking care of the problems here on the continent of Ignis. Once things were settled here, it would give him a stronger foundation to deal with Solaris later. Which is a much better plan than rushing straight into a war he knew he could not win. Quite logical, really. Sounds like you understand one another pretty well. It is not like we are newly acquainted, is it? And we had talked about a lot of things up until we decided to escape from Solaris. Speaking of that, why did you leave? The Ramses guy was supposed to be a star of hope or something, wasn't he? Yes, I certainly thought so at first. But then I realized this way of thinking really was not that much of a change from the previous system. Basically, the only difference was whether they stressed people's rank and class or their skill. The words had changed, but it was still not different from what Solaris itself had been doing until then. He had no intentions of bringing everyone a better way of life. In other words, he's an elitist. I don't think I like him much either. So, Citan, do you think I can beat Gebler? Why? Are you planning on fighting them? As long as they're working with Shakan, there's no way around it. The way things are going, I'm sure we'll have to fight them sooner or later. I suppose so, but even if we were to defeat the Gebler forces here, there's still Solaris to deal with. If we're not careful, it is possible that we may get involved in a longer war than that with Shakan. Do you not agree that continuing the way we have been going is rather hard on everyone? I think it's time we try to get help from a greater number of people. So defeating Shakan is not going to get rid of the likes of Gebler. I know what you're trying to say. To vanquish Gebler, first gain Thy Throne, right? You could put it that way. What do you mean, you could put it that way? But then again, maybe this time I did something about that. Alright. We'll still have some time. I think we can go to the town hall and finish up our plans. We have to go to the town hall, right? Sure, I went to the tool shop to borrow a table. The owner said, if we need anything for the young master, just ask for it. I'm grateful. When I was a kid, I borrowed stuff from there and got in big trouble. Borrowed... What did you take? A toy boat. I think that's what it was. I put fireworks in it and let it float on the Cathedral's lake. I always used to play Navy. I'm not sure, but I think I pretended the lake was the open sea, and I was the fleet commander. Anyway, forget those old stories. We should get started. First, Gebler is the big problem. Yes, Ramsus is headed towards achieving his goal. That he is now commander of Gebler is proof of that. A normal man could not progress so quickly through that country's organization. And now he is presently located here in Ignis. Frankly, the situation is not terrible. We need to somehow find a weak spot and attack it with all our might. First, let's just concentrate on Shakan. Once he's out of the way and Ave is safe again, we can think about how to deal with Gebler. With our present strength, we should be able to hold off the Royal Guard forces. The problem is how to deal with Gebler in the meantime. They will most likely move at Shakan's request. They're not just gonna sit by and watch quietly. May I have a look there, please? In short, we want Gebler to leave for a while. At least until we are able to take back the royal capital, Bledevik. These are the Gebler units currently in Ave, correct? The Western Guards. The Royal Capital Defense Force. And units along the front line of the border with Kislev. There are 3 main groups. Each is made up of a mix of Gebler and Ave forces. Only 2 of these are very large. The Royal Capital's defense units and the Kislev border units. The Western Guard along Nizam borders are little more than a surveillance team. In order to recapture the royal capital, it will be necessary to draw these defense units away from Bledevik. We have some Kislev-made gears, correct? Yeah, we captured some earlier. What if we use those gears to make a raid on the Western Guards? Here at the border with Nizan. I see, we'll draw them out by making it look like Kislev is invading Ava. But the problem is, will attacking the border guards be enough to set the center in motion? To be sure then, Nizan will just have to appear to align with Kislev. If they see it that way, they will certainly make a move. You're saying that you intend to use Nizan as bait? Doc? Shakan is very sensitive to Nizan and Kislev's action. If Nizan starts moving, he will probably leave it up to Gebler, but... Of course, I do not wish to do that from the beginning. But looking at the situation, we have to be willing to go that far. First, we infiltrate the capital. To take out Shakan, we'll have to meet up with our agents already in the city. We are forgetting one thing. The frontline units along Kislev's border. The main strength of Avad's fleet is the battleship Cain Fenstil. It's been in service since the reign of the last king. Because of its firepower, the whole unit is nicknamed the Invincible Fleet. I recall yesterday's intelligence report said that the ship is near the border. That puts everything in jeopardy. Do not feel so down. I simply wanted you to see the current distribution of forces in the area. Even in the worst case that they do come, it will not be such a great problem. What do you mean? I have some additional information on this border fleet. The former AVS Supreme Commander was transferred there. Not really transferred, more like demoted. His name was Vanderkaum. Vanderkaum? You don't mean the Vanderkaum that was in Jugend? The very same. Young one, he has not been able to adapt to the change in tactics, particularly following the introduction of gears. He is a man who will never stray from his dependence on large naval guns. You mean he's stubborn? He's all size and no real military power, an excellent target for pirates. Young master, this is not going to be an act of piracy. Just kidding. Actually, the number of gears assigned to the fleet seems to have been reduced. Even with that, how gallant of him to be so self-righteous. Is he that much of a musclehead? He'll be fun taunting him. Young master! I know! Then, do you think we can strike our gear forces? It's not a problem. Even with Vanderkaum, we have enough forces left to pull off the feint. However, it would not be wise to underestimate our opponents. Well, now that we know what we're up against, here's what we'll do. Apart from our main unit heading for Belivec, we must keep the fleet at the Kislev border from returning to the capital. So you're suggesting we have another unit? A few effective soldiers to hold the enemy at bay. A small force is best. A small force? What if Faye leads a group of gears there? Me? Hold on now. There's no involve you in all this. I'll do it. Yes, let me do it. When do we leave? Are you sure? We've come this far. Hey, we're friends to the end now. Speed is everything. We should do this as soon as possible. Alright, tomorrow. I'm truly grateful, Faye. Satan. Yeah. There's no way we can lose. No one will die in vain. Well put, young master. Good morning. What's with the long face? Not feeling well? Why are you feeling sad about saying goodbye? Or maybe you're just nervous. Shut up, stupid. Don't bug me. Hehe. Well, it's almost time. Yeah. Is everyone ready to go? I'll be waiting here, so let me know when you're through preparing. This is your last chance. Go upgrade your gears and do whatever you want to do. Actually, the only thing I want to do is go into the gear menu. I want to see under the kit here. I have extra armor and old circuit. You want to be sure. Well, you can actually take out everything from Amdal. I guess you can take out everything away from Amdal. And you can't do anything with Barnes gear here. Well, it's okay. You gotta put your best stuff you have on Weltel. Faye is the only one that is going to actively participate in what's gonna come. So yeah, just put everything you have here. I think that's it. I want to keep this old circuit maybe. Increases response and defense, pretty good. I want to put a beam code instead of the extra armor. This beam code can be very useful in the dungeon ad because there will be enemies that will do beam damage. But yeah, I think I'm good. Alright. We also find a pretty good item in the dungeon that we're gonna do. Well, that is done. Next time on Xenogears, we're gonna start the mission with Bart and the others to save Nizan. Sorry, not Nizan. Nizan is safe, man. To save Ave and kick Shakan off the city. Yes, then.